Thank you for learning Siebel with the Siebel Hub. We have a unique, comprehensive and always up-to-date collection of Siebel CRM 2021 training classes. We can deliver live online and on-site training in the highest quality with the most experienced instructors. And we also offer a unique modular Siebel CRM 20 and 21 training. Follow the links in the description or on this slide to learn more and learn Siebel with the Siebel Hub. Hello and welcome to this quick demo of OCI Marketplace image for Siebel CRM 21. So we are in the OCI console, and here I navigate to the marketplace and search for Siebel, and we pick the Siebel CRM 21.x install container and launch an instance. So if you have an OCI account, you can immediately create an instance in your compartment of choice, in your availability domain of choice, and select the shape, etc. So let's call this Siebel 21.11 big test, and we are going big. Let's say, why not go for maybe 16 CPUs? Why not? Keep in mind this, of course, is 16 times more expensive than one CPU, and it's a bit over the top maybe, but don't worry, we'll just do a test. So we have our public key here for SSH and can just create the instance. So it's provisioning and should be up and running anytime soon. So that will take probably a few minutes before you can then use the public IP address, which is on display already, and use it for SSH, access to the shell of this Linux machine. And there is a Jenkins service pre-installed on that image. That's all there is. Linux, Oracle Linux, plus a Jenkins instance. And that Jenkins instance I'm accessing here. And so there you find a Siebel deploy project. And you can select that pipeline and then click Open Blue Ocean. And in the Blue Ocean UI, you have a Run button. So a bit of German here, but here we select the version and the industry. Let's go for telecommunication, sample or vanilla database. Can modify the domain names, but we are happy with the wildcards. And then hit run. And we're speeding this up here, so this would run for about half an hour. And so I have already run it on another machine, so you can see the Jenkins pipeline pulling the Docker images for the database, the Siebel 21.11 MDE image, and the sample database files. And it installs the sample database, starts the Oracle database, and then goes about to down here. It creates the certificates, self-signed certificates, very simplistic. And then, yeah, here it is, starting the container. So it uses the same image, MDE makes that possible, to run the AI, Cloud Gateway, and Siebel server machines. So you need 3 machines at least. And then it uses curl commands, which is quite interesting, as half documented in the bookshelf as of time of this recording, and uses curl commands to actually create a simple enterprise, bootstrap the enterprise first, create an enterprise, create one Siebel server in it, and an AI, and deploy all that. And once it's all finished, you can log into your Siebel enterprise. So it's very, very cool and showcases nicely if you use the pre-configured Docker images from Oracle, which you can do by issuing a service request. You can do the same on any machine that you like, but this is just an automation that Oracle uses as a showcase here. And it's not clear how long this will stay on OCI or how it will change over in the future, in the near immediate future, with all the plans that Oracle has. So here we have the Docker processes running for Gateway, AI, and Siebel Server, along with a database. And the game here that we play here is we want to just try and get a feeling for what's it like to set up a gateway cluster. And this is a very unusual scenario. We have only one machine running, but thanks to Docker containers, we'll actually run, well, 2 additional gateways and then configure all 3 of the gateways in a cluster. So we start with the persistence layer. So these persistence folders are created for each machine. I've taken a backup of the Siebel CGW, the gateway, which includes the zookeeper files for the currently single gateway, and then I just create 2 more directories for the future second and third gateway, and just make them fully accessible just to keep things simple here. So now I have gateway, gateway 2, and gateway 3 just as a folder in the persistence layer. But now we use almost the same exact Docker run command to use the same Siebel 21.11 image to run 2 additional Docker machines. So that goes about very quickly, matter of a few seconds really. You have those 2 machines up and running. And just imagine that in real life you wouldn't run these on the same physical or virtual machine. It wouldn't make any sense, but this is just for training and evaluation. So now we have the machines running. Let's give them a bit of time to cool down until they're reported healthy. So it's fine now. And we can then stop them first. So the thing on this OCI image is so to stop these machines once they have run the first time, and then copy over the Siebel key store JKS file from the first primary gateway in the persistence folder. So you copy those files from the original persistence folder to the new persistence folder, which has been created right now. So that's why we need to override the Siebel key store JKS. And then make sure recursively that all these subfolders are accessible. And now we're good to start the 2 machines again. So this is now no longer Docker run, it's just Docker start, because the machines already exists. And again, it takes a few seconds for them to start up. They are not gateways yet. They're just started, like after an installation of Siebel Enterprise components. The Tomcat is running. And now I'm logged into the Siebel Management Console, and I have created a gateway cluster profile with the original registry port and the follower and leader port. So, and then I'm going to deploy a gateway cluster using that profile. Let's go for staging first. It's kind of a complex thing, so it's good to stage. So I duplicate the primary gateway and simply change the host name, which we specified in the Docker run command, to 2 and 3 respectively. So you have a service cluster and a registry cluster. That's the interesting part here. So you have to do this 4 times. And if you submit that, it's just staged. It just saves the future structure of your cluster. You can still make changes to it, but subsequently you want to deploy it. So make sure the machines are running, the Tomcats are purring, and we can just prepare a little bit, maybe side by side, see the machine usage here. Prepare this a little bit. So now I'm hitting deploy. And yeah, so it's working. It takes a few moments, don't sweat it. And you see there's things like config wizard, zookeepers starting up. So there are 2 new zookeepers being deployed on the 2 new machines currently and configured. Let's call it. So that was successful. So we get green balls. That's what we want to see here. It's not an easy. It doesn't always get green on the first time, but this time it did. Okay. So that means we have a cluster, working zookeeper cluster. So normally we would go about and restart your enterprise, but let's see what the cluster can do already. So here, let's see the configuration of the original gateway. So that's in the gateway folder, gateway server folder, registry conf, registry CFG. That's the zookeeper configuration file. Notice the servers in the cluster have been added to the file. They were not present before the cluster configuration or deployment. Now let's compare this to the second cluster node. The same information is there. So each zookeeper knows the follower and leader ports and machine names of the other zookeepers. And for the third, it's the same. So those configuration files have been correctly written. And now let's see the version 2 folder. So we start with the original primary gateway, which was running before. So version 2 has all the transaction logs and snapshots. Let's make that the recent on the bottom. So you see that there is a new generation of log files, so to speak, since we started the gateway clustering at 12:05. There's an epoch file and a new log file. And those same files, the last ones we see in the primary gateway, files with the same names, I should say, are in the second and also probably in the third zookeeper version 2 folder. And yeah, that's true. So good to see that. So the zookeepers are, well, are they really synchronizing? We don't know yet. But let's do a bit of an experiment here, since we have this machine up and running and we so can start experimenting. It's a disposable machine. That's the benefit of these cloud images. So here, let's just copy a server profile. So I have a simple profile. I clone it, name it simple copy. That should trigger a change in zookeeper. And now we see at this minute, 12:09, the log file in the third zookeeper was updated. Let's check the second one. At the same time, its log file was updated. And the primary one has a timestamp with a same timestamp for the same transaction log file. So yes, they are saving in atomic mode. That's the atomic broadcast of zookeeper. Google it. And they're always saving every transaction synchronously. So that's good. It appears to be working. So let's log into an application. So here we have Siebel Communications. Just logging in to make sure. Is everything fine? So this means yes. So the AI definitely could make a service discovery against the new cluster and identify, get back a connect string and connect to an object manager. So now I'm going to stop, let's say the third one. So stopping one entire Docker machine, the Cloud Gateway 03. Just hard, literally pulling the plug. So now 2 zookeepers are left. Let's see, let's reload that login page. And comes back. Can we log in? Yep. Oh, that's great. So even with 2 zookeepers up, we can still use the system. Now let's stop another one. Let's stop the primary. That's 1 left. And not good. Okay, that's expected. It's not unexpected, as the zookeeper requires a quorum, a majority, to allow full operation. So 1 is not a majority of 3, so it couldn't just continue working. Even if we start up the third one now, it's funny, not sure if that's intentional, it doesn't come back up. So unless we start the primary again. So in theory, it should be able to continue with 2, but now once we start up the primary one, even stopping the third one, so it's still 2 zookeepers, but the primary is online. Maybe some caching issue here, but now the application is available again. Okay, that was a quick experiment. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye-bye.